There are three stories I'm about to tell you that just might make the hair on your neck stand up. And there's one big reason I'm going to tell you all three. But first, here are the stories. In Missouri, police say this man raped the mother of a 3-year-old while that child was still in the home. And they say that the victim may have been handcuffed during that rape. After the attack was over, apparently the suspect, Russell Bird, according to police, told his victim to give him a little time before calling 911 so that he could down a few beers before going to jail. That's Missouri. So now I want to take you to Florida. In Florida, a teenager is accused of breaking into his neighbor's house. Apparently he was wearing a mask. He tied that mother up and raped her at knife point, allegedly. After the attack, the police say the 18-year-old young man named Timothy Walding, here's his mugshot, decided to stay for a while and have a chat. Even took off his mask to ease the fear of the victim. The victim says that teenager then did the unthinkable. He asked her if he could make it up to her by doing a little yard work for her, or maybe a little cleaning. And we continue to report on Harvey Weinstein, who is arguably legions above middle class and considered pretty damn well educated. He's the famed Hollywood mogul behind mega hits like Pulp Fiction, Shakespeare in Love, Gangs of New York, the Scream franchise, and I've only scratched the surface of his success rate. Dozens of other very successful actresses like Gwyneth Paltrow and Heather Graham and Angelina Jolie and Patricia Arquette and Rose McGowan and Ashley Judd, who don't have, shelves big enough for all of their awards, have accused Harvey Weinstein of sexual harassment and of sexual assault and of rape, full on. And the list keeps getting longer, too, because now it's believed a third woman in London has made sexual assault allegations against Harvey. There's some work going on in New York, too. It all seems to expose this culture of complicity and intimidation in Hollywood that allowed Weinstein to carry out the alleged actions. And in what sure looks like a good old boy reaction, a man with a questionable moral compass of his own, director Woody Allen, who faced a sexual assault allegation from his own adopted daughter and actually married another adopted daughter in his household. Well, he commented on the Weinstein saga, condemning the actions of Harvey to the BBC, but adding that it was also sad for Harvey, and that he hopes the allegations don't lead to a witch hunt atmosphere, where every guy in an office who winks at a woman is suddenly having to call a lawyer and defend himself. Just let that sink in for a minute. That's the way it is, folks. I don't need to explain that to Lavinia Masters. She's a sex assault survivor and an advocate for the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, and she joins me live from Dallas. Lavinia, you were 13 years old when you were raped at knife point by a home intruder. What you had to go through was victimization after victimization after victimization. The final insult being that your rape kit sat on a shelf for over 20 years and it didn't even get tested. If that's not the biggest shrug to sex assault in our system, I don't know what is. Is there more?
Exactly. Does there need to be more is the question. No, it doesn't need to be. That's enough. That's more than enough. And frankly, I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of how, society views sexual assault and sexual abuse and rape and all of this. And no, it shouldn't be any more. I've had enough, and we should all have enough.
So you just heard me tell those stories. You've probably been listening all week, to the Weinstein saga. And, the rest of us think, oh, gosh, ooh, terrible, ooh, ouch, how could that be? And I wonder if you have that same reaction. Do you have a different reaction?
My reaction is, good for you young ladies that decided to come forward and speak about it. So many people in power positions of money or what have you, they intimidate us. Like you said, they intimidate us, and sometimes not even in those positions. But I'm excited that they finally came forward and they spoke out, and whatever repercussions happen from that, I stand for them wholeheartedly. No, I have nothing positive to say for the Weinstein case, but I hooray for my victims who finally come forward and speak about this.
So, Lavinia, can I ask you something? As we continue to build these cases and I continue to report on these cases, it's becoming abundantly clear that a lot of reputations come before the victim. For instance,
Yes,
the studio, the university's reputation, the team's reputation, the perpetrator's reputation and his family, and the advertisers, and the student's future before the reputation and the effect on the actual victim, him or herself. Do you ever see that changing?
I hope that it changes. The rate that it's going now, it looks like it will never change. But if we as advocates and survivors continue to speak up and use our voices, it has to change. It has to change. We have to demand change in all of this. Who cares about their reputation? What about our reputation? What about our lives as victims, you know? And shame on them. Shame on them. You know, it's a reason why they're hiding the things that they're doing. So no one should be concerned about their reputation in that aspect where you criminalize and you dehumanize, you know, victims and women and discredit them by taking things by force. No. I have no sympathy for that.
Lavinia, let me bring in Stacey Honowitz to our conversation. She's the supervisor for the Sex Crimes Unit for the Broward County State Attorney's Office. She's also the author of My Private